brothers and sisters in faith and in humanity. Quick introduction today. Peace be upon all those who genuinely seek peace and work for it. In the name of God and with thanks to Him I start. If any of us to come in this stream would not please God, then it's on me, but I also have no control over what some game developers may include in their games, and I hope to have full control soon over which games to play, if at all. My name is Muslim Relapsing Gamer, or MRG for short, and this stream is kind of stream number 22, but stream number 23 of my gameplay of Black Desert Online, but I don't think I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it what happened to the RU servers, what happened to the Russian servers. Before I go on about this, my usual necessary disclaimer is that I am Muslim, but I do not represent Islam as a belief system. All Muslims in general, I only represent myself. And unless clearly and specifically stated when I'm talking about verifiable facts, historical or scientific, my opinions are my own, and especially my mistakes are my own. Occasionally in my streams I talk about various subjects ranging from religion through science and to obscure subjects like conspiracy theory and transhumanism. I'm almost always inspired by something that happens in-game, so it's rarely, if ever, completely random. If you choose to watch my streaming or archive streams, then I hope I've prepared you very clearly for what you may expect. Finally, this stream is for mature audiences only. You have to be 18 and older to watch this stream. Reasons being there is partial nudity in this game, unfortunately, which I try to avoid as much as possible. There is also encouraged alcohol use, unfortunately, and once again I try to avoid that as much as possible. And finally, this chat here at the bottom left corner can get quite weird and cover very, very strange, even taboo subjects that minors have absolutely no business being exposed to, let alone reading about. Also, there is very strong language in the chat, and occasionally, when provoked, I could also use strong language. So please, 18 and older, to watch this stream. Now, with all that out of the way, I started the stream abruptly, pretty much. I wasn't planning on starting now, but the Russian servers of Black Desert Online have been wiped. Apparently, literally wiped, a hard wipe on everything. The Russian players have lost their level 61 characters, level 62 characters, and apparently a few 63 characters. The Russian players have also lost all their pearl items. Pearl items, they basically use real-life money to buy pearls in-game, and with these pearls they bought things in the game. Things that I, have in this game too. But I'm going to show you here in this stream some very, very interesting stuff here. If I try to scroll back up, I just want to start by showing you something I said here. So that's me. EU guys, be nice to the Russians, please. Those guys lost their homes. This bit is a joke, just to grab their attention. 61, 62, 63 characters, boss year, all hard-earned money spent on pearl items and so on. Think how you'd feel if you were in their place. They are quite literally virtual refugees. And before, and then some people asking here, what happened exactly to the Russian servers. Soldiers lost their items and starting again on the server. GameNet didn't want to pay for the license. I don't understand this detail just yet. I might go later and just check what exactly is happening, or what exactly happened. Is EA not going to refund them their Pearl Shop items? Apparently not. From what I understood, any field. Yep. Yeah, and I say here, I answer, yeah, pretty much they lost all progress, Pearl items in a hard server wipe. It's almost unimaginable for me, but think of how you'd be like if this happened to you. And then, yeah, this guy, yeah, we should be more welcoming. So this is one example of a nice person, and I really am grateful to see this. Very, very grateful. And then this is an example of the others. Alden, let's call him out. Alden, his family name is Alden and Sama Elitsa. Yeah, I mean, maybe some people wouldn't approve of this, but you know, the guy is chatting in a public forum, in a public sort of medium. It is pretty much, you know, the game is free. It is very much free, very much public, because you can get the game for free now. The game is free, so anyone with a computer and you know the correct specs can download this game and read this guy's words. Who cares? Russians are not people, and I think people should be. We should start basically shaming this sort of behavior in order for it to not happen. People are using their anonymity online to become basically animals, you know, to become animals and assholes, and all sorts of weird stuff shows up in this game. And so I think let's take away some of this anonymity and show them that their words online actually have consequence. They are using a family name in a game. This family name cannot be changed unless you pay money. So you have to pay money to change this. So if you're not going to pay money to change this, and if you make some progress in the game, then yeah, you're pretty much stuck with your reputation. So let's act like it, guys. Let's act like it. Wait, so they lost everything and still want to play? This guy is, yeah, I guess, yeah, can't be helped. Russians, and then yeah, this guy answers Russians and stuff. Yeah, this is probably Polish. So yeah, I mean, look at, I talked about this, so I won't talk about it just yet. We are already a multicultural community here. Yeah, there isn't anything. Yeah, there is nothing relevant in the map chat. After the last few lines that I read. So, yeah, so some of these comments, I talk about this. Let's go up here, show you some of this. Yeah, here we are, starting from, yep, here it is. So, this person says we lose all. He's Russian, and obviously you know the English isn't perfect, but I am thankful that he actually took the time, he or she took the time to talk to me, use whatever they knew of the English language to explain to me. Okay, so I don't mind at all. We lose all 61, 62, 63, 2 characters, all per shop things. And then I ask, are you serious? This happened on the RU servers. He says, yes. I cried all night, that was so dumb. And I said, my God. And then they say I was 61 and 34%, 61.34%, which with 19 out of 3. I think I can't understand, I still quite can't understand this. I think this is some sort of Russian way of referring to boss tier. So I think basically they are saying that they had insane numbers of boss tier. Boss tier is basically at the top, you know. I think 19 refers to the level of the gear, and 3 is the number of boss gear. So 3 items, 3 boss gear items at level 19, which is basically Tet 10. Yep, Tet. So they had 3 boss gear items at Tet. I believe that's what they mean. But let's see. No, and then I say when I'm responding to what they said about that was so dumb. I cried all night. That was so dumb. And I said, no, I can understand all this wasted real-life money and time. I can understand. I can totally understand someone crying all night because of this. They have, I don't know, invested time in this game
2-3 years, 2 years playing the game, you know, improving their characters, getting pearl items, paying hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for some people, and as you will see later, thousands. And then all of it gone like that, poof, all of it gone, you know. So yeah, they said donated 34 euros. They mean, you know, this is, I guess, maybe in Russia that's what they are considering it, donations. When they are, because there is no subscription, there is no forced subscription. Whatever they pay, whatever money they pay for some virtual, you know, virtual product or item, like, you know, an outfit, you know, something that makes the character look a bit better, but also gives them a few advantages here and there. They consider this payment not a price; they consider it a donation. And in a way, I understand it's almost a donation because you are paying real life money, you know, for nothing. It is nothing. It's just, you know, some digital stuff in a game. I know we buy the game. Sometimes we buy the game. We pay money for the game, and the game is kind of nothing. It's nothing physical, you know. It's something that you experience. But you are paying here for the experience. However, this is like nothing within a nothing. You know, you're paying like, you know, you're paying for an outfit in a game. You're paying for whatever, some sort of item, whether it's cosmetic or not, in a game. So that kind of, you know, magnifies the effect of you're literally paying for a virtual thing that doesn't really exist and what have you. So they consider it a donation, and I completely understand. So this specific person said they donated 35 euros. I bet 35 euros is a lot of money for you know, a lot of people in Russia. You know, because of the currency difference and what have you. 2 years only play. And I said, did anyone, any GM or something like Game Master or something, send you messages about this? And they say, yeah. And there is the situation that Outlook, yeah, I couldn't understand this one. There is the situation that localizators told that or that PA if guilty on this, but PA told that localizator. So dumb. I didn't understand this. Yeah, this specific sentence is quite difficult to decipher. And then in response to my question, they say yes, Pearl Abyss informed us about the white. They are like, you know, laughing about it or basically smiling about it. And that's fun. Yeah, they told us they will screw us up. Basically, this is what they are telling me. Yes, they told us they will screw us up completely, you know. And then I said, my God, this is insane. And then they say, and now they told that we will start localizate everything from the start. Okay, so localizate is localizations. So there's a situation that our localizators, so basically there is the situation, I think I'm starting to decipher it. There is the situation that our localizers told that PA is guilty, that Pearl Abyss, the developer of the game, is guilty on this, is guilty, you know, in this, is just in the wrong about this. But PA, Pearl Abyss, told those localizers, I don't know what they told, I'm not sure. But anyway, I think, you know, at least I'm starting to kind of understand what that was. And now they say that now PA Pearl Abyss says we will start to localize everything from the start. And then I say, thinking that all what we're doing in the game can go poof one day. That's what I'm saying this, you know, I'm thinking that all what we're doing in the game can go poof one day. And they're saying from the beginning, I am really scared now about EU servers. And I say, so they didn't at least back character levels and Pearl items up? They are not giving those back? And then they're continuing, because EU servers license will end in March. They mean next March in 2019. And then they say, in response to my question, they say no, they did not. So I say, that's just another level of fucked up. That's just another level of fucked up. And it is. So they say, yeah, precious day, I spent all day on game waiting for some information for server stopping. Yeah, waiting for, so they spent all day and basically waiting for some information. We only joked about the wipe. We only joked about the wipe, but Dream It becomes the truth. But yeah, it just became the truth. So basically, they only joked about the wipe. You know, when they heard about it first, they just joked about it. But you know, it became the truth. and then they say, oh yeah, sorry for my English. And then they say, you know, they're giving me advice in case, just in case, don't donate, don't buy anything. What they're trying to say here is, don't buy anything until April, because of this server license, the EU server license issue. And then a guy saw my map chat line, and then he's whispering me, or someone, you know, I don't know, guy or girl, but most of us are guys here, obviously. So he whispers me and says, did they really lose their pearl items? What the fuck? And then I'm responding to the Russian person. Your English is just fine. I understood all you said. I wish I spoke Russian. It's a very important language. And then I'm responding to the guy who you know sent me that comment. Yeah, I was just whispering with one. They lost 61, 62, 63 characters. All of them. All of the rest. And pearl items and pearls. And then he says, dude, that's crazy. And now the Russian person is responding, if your servers will be alive, I think Russians will play here. I don't think that someone will come to RU servers again. And then, but yeah, RU servers, we will wait maybe 5 to 6 months. As I mentioned, they started to translate the game from the beginning. My God, this is, I just I can't fathom this. I cannot understand it. They are actually starting to translate the game from the beginning, so they didn't have this data backed up somewhere outside Russia. I don't know what to say. And then I'm responding to the guy who kind of, you know, sent me the comment. I told him I got tingles when I heard, to be honest. The hairs on the back of my neck stood from the horror and shock. And then the Russian person saying, all 3 years progress. And then the guy says, I feel the same right now. What's the point in buying anything when it can just disappear like that? And they're saying 3 years of localization work. Oh. And then I'm responding to the EU guy, or the EU person, just trying to imagine that this would happen to my account after the hundreds of euros I spent and hundreds of hours of active leveling and thousands of AFK time, you know, in life skill leveling and stuff, like just this, basically what's happening right now, you know, this AFK. I'm kind of AFK because I'm not really controlling anything. My character is just training these horses automatically. So this is what I'm referring to. Probably thousands, you know, given the months or the weeks I've left the computer on doing things like that. It's probably thousands of hours of PC time, AFK PC time. Yeah, just trying to. And then he says, and those high-level characters, the EU person says, and those high-level characters, so much time wasted. Exactly. That's even more precious than the money. Forget about the hundreds of euros. Money comes and goes, but time doesn't come. When time goes, that's it. It's gone. It's gone. And this is why, you know, I say in the beginning, every single stream in the introduction, I say. But I have no control over what some game developers may include in their games, and I hope to have full control soon over which games to play, if at all. This is why I say this in the introduction. Every single stream I start with this introduction. And this is why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because I am aware that, you know, all of this is in a virtual world. It's nothing, it's like, you know, not really any kind of real achievement. It's just something for fun. We are just experiencing, we are living through an experience, but the experience is essentially fake. You know, it's just a dream. It never really happens. We're just imagining all this in our minds, that we're fighting these big monsters and, you know, defeating them and what have you. And in the grand scheme of things, it's just a waste of time. It's fun. It's fun, but there is a level of too much fun. You know, there is something called too much fun. You know, maybe fun should be limited to a little bit of time and, you know, do some other stuff. Of course, I wasn't like, you know, as you saw, I stopped streaming for more than 6 months or something, and then I returned to it and so on. So yeah, I'm not, you know, living quite that way for streaming, but
some weeks come and I am, you know, pretty much that's all I'm doing. So it does become a waste of time, and especially for a Muslim, especially for a believer. If you believe in the afterlife, if you believe in God, if you believe in heaven and hell, then you should absolutely be working for that. You should be avoiding hell every single day, and you should be working for heaven every single day. And it's not easy. It's not easy peasy. It's hard work. You know, it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of willpower, you know, to actually focus on. Excuse the banging if I don't know if it's too hard on the mic. But yeah, absolutely, we should be working for these things rather than wasting time in the game and what have you. So, but you know, with that said, I do care about the time wasted more. So this guy just, you know, hit what was the expression, nail on the head or something like that. They really nailed it. They really nailed it when they said on all those high-level characters, so much time just wasted. Exactly, so much time just wasted. Now they have to duplicate instead of, I don't know, maybe someone spent 500 hours in leveling and stuff, and now imagine that if they want to play this game and have fun, they have to spend those 500 hours all over again. It's such a waste of time. And then I'm saying to the Russian person, I don't know what to say. I got shivers when I heard the hairs on the. I'm saying the same thing I said to the other guy. I'm saying to him now. The hairs on the back of my neck stood from the horror and shock. And then the EU guy says, I just returned to the game, so I don't really know what exactly happened. Did they just shut down the Russian server? And then the Russian guy says, I have some desert feelings of nothing. I think desert. I think he's referring to. I have only some desert feelings of nothing. So basically, it's almost like he's saying it's almost like a desert inside me. A desert, you know, nothing. There is just sand and nothing. You know, there is no real alive emotion. There is no passion. You know, that's what they're saying. They have just some feelings of nothing. That's one. So in the West, we would say I'm feeling numb. You know, they are feeling numb, and I can feel them. I swear I can feel them. Man, I would probably feel the same way after a long night of crying about all the wasted hours and money, you know. So I say to the Russian person, if this happens to my account with the hundreds I spent and thousands of hours of AFK life skills and hundreds of hours of active leveling, it would be horror. And I wouldn't blame Russians for coming here and ignoring any new RU servers. I would do the same. And the Russian person says to me, in our guild there was one guy, he spent also really much donate for the guild. So he spent a lot of money donating for the guild and for a friend and for himself. He was 20 out of 4 circle. 20 out of 4. I think I'm starting to understand this. He had 20, oh my god, he had 4 pen. He had 4 boss gear items at the pen level. It's basically, you know, it's basically the top thing. You know, like there's nothing better, you know, than pen. And it's boss gear too. I can't imagine the number of hours they spent to get this. And then I'm saying to the EU person, we already have a multicultural community here. Countless languages are spoken in chat. One more language won't be an issue. And it's the truth. And then I asked them, what do you mean by 2040, sir? And they're responding to me, the Russian person responding to me, yeah, I see, but Russians now made so much hype around, and I feel so, how to say, ashamed from them because of the chat. And now the EU guy, yeah, and then I'm responding to the EU guy, yeah, I don't know the details, and the guy's English isn't that great, so it's futile to ask for details, but I know for a fact that they did a hard wipe on all the RU servers of the game, and I don't think they backed up anything. So now the Russian person is responding to my question. 20 boss set V, pen, yep. And IV, how it, yep. Yeah, I understood. So yep, 20, so it's pen, it's V, it's pen, and it's a boss set, which means 4 items, yep. So I think he's referring to the armor.
the guy has a full set of boss armor. So you know these. So yep, you know the helmet, the chest, the gloves. What else? The shoes or the boots. All of them are at 10 level and they're nice. And then I'm saying to the EU person, I don't think they necessarily shut down the servers, though apparently they are restarting the localization process or something. And the Russian person says accessories. And then I'm saying to the EU person, as if Russians will dare play on RU servers again, you know. The RU person says to me, also he had a Vel heart stone. Vel is this. Yep, this sea monster, quite difficult, as you can see, very far away, very far away. Insane amount of sailing to get to, and so yeah, getting the drops boss. This is like I think super boss gear or something like that. Quite insane. And then the EU person says to me, "Brah, I don't know. I hope they can get their stuff back though." And yeah, the Russian person, you know, corrects himself, says the Vel's heart. I understood, you know, they don't have to they don't have to correct typos. And then I'm saying to the EU person, don't worry about other Russians. I think it's their right to speak their language in chat, just like other Europeans speak Spanish, Italian, and so on, and Polish, and so on. And EU guys here are just being normal people, assholes. And I say to the EU person, I really hope so too. I'm physically distressed imagining this could happen to us here. And I say to the Russian person, I see what you mean, 14 plus pieces of boss gear, but no, I actually didn't get it correctly, because I was counting, this is not what they meant. I actually understood what they meant right now as I am, you know, talking to you about it. The Russian person says, I don't talk about that they speak native language. They write something so dumb in English, rude things, for example. So I say to the Russian person, I don't mean plus 14. I mean more than 14 pieces of post gear. No, yeah, that's not what they meant. Well, the EU guys are, and then I'm saying, well, the EU guys are being rude to them to start with. The Russian person says, yeah, we waited so long time that new location, for that new location, new zone. There is a new zone being added to the game called Drigan, and how it is Drigan, or how it is named in the EU. Localizers told us that it will be in the end of August. The localizers. And yeah, I say to them, yeah, Drigan, and I'm spelling it correctly. They say, the Russian person says, and then in September we have 1 month without any events or updates. Yeah, they're correcting. I already understood. Damn, I am dumb. They say, damn, I am dumb. And then I think this guy is another Russian person who saw my, the chat I showed you earlier in map chat. He says, he thanked me in the map chat, and then he comes here and says, really, thanks for your words. He is referring to, it's still there. Yeah, it's not there. But yeah, I read the words he's talking about, these words that I read at the very beginning of my stream, my own words here. That's what he said. That's what he's referring to. Really, thanks for your words. I respond to him saying, you're most welcome. I only said the truth. EU servers are already multicultural, and chat has countless non-English languages. One more non-English language isn't going to be a big deal. And what happened to you guys really pains me. I imagine it happened to me, and I just don't. Is this correct? I imagine it happening. I imagine it happening to me, and I just don't have the words for the pain of for losing so much time. And then he says, he drops the bomb on me. He drops the bomb on me. I spent $40,000, $40,000 on this game. I am tingling. I'm getting tingles right now. And I swear the hairs in the back of my neck are standing again. I think the hairs on my head are standing reading these words. I swear. The Russian guy, the Russian person says to me, I think he's a guy, he says to me, he spent $40,000 on this game. I don't know what to say. But let's continue. Now he says, and now I have nothing on RU servers. He has nothing. Now after oh my god, after $40,000. And now I have nothing on the RU servers. 40,000. Yes, he's like, you know, he's emphasizing 40,000. And I respond, my god. It's a wild thing. He says, it's a wild thing. It is. It is a wild thing, man. It is. I swear to you. I agree with you. It's a fucking wild thing. It's a fucking wild thing that you just said. It's a savage thing that you just said to me. Oh my god. And then yeah, I respond to him. I say, and I thought the hundreds I spent are much. And then I put me a sad smiley. And then he responds, yeah, my friend spent almost 100K. He has a friend who spent 100,000. And wife, 20. I don't know if he's referring to his own wife or his friend's wife, but I think his friend is referring to his friend's wife. His friend spent 100,000 and his wife spent 20,000. I respond to him and I say, man, I don't understand. How can this even happen? This should be illegal. It should be. This kind of money being paid to a company, it should be illegal to just, you know, make it all go away. And then he says, I think PA and GameNet just fucked us. Yep. That's exactly what they did. That's what I'm talking about. I can't stop laughing you. After all the horror I've been talking about, I get back to my chat. And I read this. And this is why, my friends, this stream is strictly for mature audiences only. God, I don't know, man. I just don't know what to say anymore. I don't know. I'm going to respond to you. Letting them know, you know, why settings for phone and stuff. Guess they don't really want it, but regardless.
wife spent 20,000. Pretty sure. And these are like, you know, Russian players, Russian gamers. Imagine what it is like, you know, in the EU and some of the more lucrative, you know, basically markets in the EU. I mean, lucrative for Pearl Abyss. You know, some, I don't know, things, I guess the economies all over the world are changing, but there are countries, like several countries in the EU known for, you know, people having a lot of free time and also, you know, decent money. Scandinavia here, around Scandinavia, there are several countries like that. Not saying I'm necessarily one of them, but yeah, I see plenty of people around with lots of free time and lots of disposable income to just burn on whatever they want and have fun. And Switzerland, you know, comes to mind. So on. Yeah, plenty of markets in the EU. Supporting. Call them stupid, it's fine. I mean, I really don't mind anyone having some like an opinion about this because this is how you would carry yourself in life. Call them stupid if you want. But the main point is that I'm not going to agree on that. I'm not going to necessarily agree on that. If a person, the thing is, I've read in like psychology books and articles before that you shouldn't be spending money on objects. That you shouldn't be spending your money on cars, you know, fancy cars and fancy toys and things like that. That's not what you should be spending your money on. You should be spending your money on fancy experiences. That's what you should be spending your money on. That's what lasts. That's what really lasts with you. The fancy cars and the objects and the, you know, fancy houses and all these things, they are just objects. They never really stay with you for long. Maybe the house, you know, maybe the house does because you live in it. But, you know, other stuff, you know, fancy cars or whatever else, none of that really lasts. What psychology experts say to you is that it doesn't really last. You can buy a fancy car and, you know, the maximum length of time that it will actually give you some happiness and excitement in life is 3 months. That's the maximum, like, you know, that's insanely high. And for most people it's just 2 weeks. And the excitement just fades, the enthusiasm for the whole thing just fades away, it's gone. It's completely gone, literally gone. In 3 months, you don't feel it anymore. You don't feel the effect of that fancy car anymore. So what should you spend your money on if you have money? You should spend them on exciting, memorable experiences. So you go out on vacation, go, you know, visit a country that you always wanted to visit, spend some time, some quality time with your loved ones or your loved one. Do things like that. Just go, you know, pay for experiences, not for objects or items. Pay for intangible experiences, not for tangible possessions. That's what psychology experts are, you know, are telling you. In order to have, you know, more happiness, more excitement, more fulfillment in your life, and so on. If you have disposable income, that's what you should be spending it on. And guess what? This gentleman here did exactly that. He didn't, I don't think he bought, you know, maybe you say, oh, he went to the pro shop and bought items, so it is tangible. No, it's not tangible. It's a fake world. It's a virtual thing. It doesn't exist. He doesn't own anything for real. All he's doing is experiences, and that is what, you know, also we're doing. If I buy, you know, an outfit or something like this, I'm trying to save, you know, 10% of my time. So I'm paying a little bit of money to save my time, which is much more precious than the money. You know, I'm also paying for the experience itself. You know, an experience of basically, I don't know, whatever, being a well-dressed adventurer in a nice world, a nice rich world like this. So in a way, it's not paying for possessions. You are paying for the experience. You are experiencing something, and you're having more fun, so you invest in it. And this is what this gentleman here and his friend did, in my humble opinion. They didn't, you know, pay for possessions. They paid for experience. They're having fun in this game, in this fictional world, living in this fictional world, as fantasy personas and what have you, and they are investing in it to improve that experience. I believe that there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, the money should be, some of the money should perhaps be also diverted towards good causes, like helping the poor or what have you. But we don't know, we don't know the details of these people. If this people is already helping, helping the poor and doing some good with their money, then it's their right to spend some other portion of it on their own fund. So yeah. As I said, you can call them whatever, but the fact of the matter here is that someone paid 100, like more than one person paid $100,000, $40,000 to a gaming company, and they supported the gaming company with that kind of money. And not just these people, but there are hundreds of thousands of others, maybe millions, who have paid more than 10 euros each, 10, 20, 30 euros and so on. The other person that the other Russian person that I was talking to, they spent 35 euros. Yeah? So I'm showing you both examples in this stream. One Russian person spent 35 euros, and now this money is wasted. And I'm pretty sure it's very, very hard-earned money for that person who spent 35. It means a lot to them. This person spent 40, his friend spent 40,000. His friend spent 100,000. I'm pretty sure that's also a lot of money for those guys, and it means a lot. So all these people who spent tens of thousands on the game, and all the hundreds of thousands of other people, or millions of other people who have spent around 30 euros, or at least definitely more than 30 euros, just feeling like, it can all be just wiped away, just like that, with the click of a button. It's just unimaginable, and it shouldn't be legal. In my humble opinion, it shouldn't be legal. I know the terms of service probably say that Relapsing owns everything. That like before you start playing the game, you have to click on some sort of button that basically says Relapsing owns everything. Relapsing owns your characters, owns your horses, owns your loot, owns your gear, and when you buy something like an outfit, Relapsing also owns that thing. You are paying Relapsing so that they own your Pearl shop items. I'm pretty sure the terms of service pretty much say something like that there. So you've already agreed. You've already said yes, I agree. I agree on doing this. So in this regard, it is technically legal. From a technical perspective, it's legal. So yes, I completely understand that. I'm not stupid. But what I'm trying to say here is that I think it should be illegal from a practical perspective. Even if it's technically legal, because of the way these companies' lawyers design and really draft their agreements very well, and their terms of service very well. I think it shouldn't be the case. This shouldn't be legal to just do that. It's really unfair. It's unimaginably unfair. Unimaginably unfair. I just cannot understand how can this be legal, and even if it's technically illegal, how can companies live with themselves doing something like that to hundreds of thousands or millions of people who have invested in them, who have trusted them with their time and with their money. You are providing a service to these people, and the service is just fun time. You are in a way making people's lives better. I mean, unless they take it to the extreme, then they start making their lives worse, of course, they start making their life worse by, just playing games and not really taking care of themselves or what have you. But if if people are reasonable, people are moderate, are doing things moderately, then you are basically making people's lives better. You know, you're helping them forget, you're helping them forget, the stresses of life and stuff. You know, just like you, when someone makes a movie, you know, and it's a really good movie. In a way, you are making people's lives better, because people can go to the movie theater or the cinema and they can watch this movie and forget about life for a little bit, for just a couple of hours or so, you know, and live in a fantasy world and engage or empathize with the star of the movie or the stars of the movie and so on. So in a way, you have the ability to make people's lives better, and Pearl Abyss here is doing the same. It has the potential, and it has made some people's lives better, as long as these people, I again emphasize, as long as these people are themselves being moderate, you know, they are not just screwing themselves over by living, you know, playing a game 16 hours a day and doing absolutely nothing else, you know, just eating while at their desk, and you know, never going AFK and stuff. I know some of my streams are 11 hours long, but you can see, you know, throughout the stream, I go AFK so many times, more times than I can count. Some people aren't like that. Some people literally play at their desk 15 hours a day, and the only reason they leave their desk is to go to the toilet, or go grab something from the fridge, pizza or whatever, and eat it while they're playing. I'm not like that. I don't go that far, you know. And I think it's wrong to be like that. You invite imbalance and bad health to your life, and negative energy and so on and so forth. So I again emphasize, as long as the gamers are being moderate with, you know, with the time they put in a game, as long as the gamers are taking care of themselves, taking care of their health, trying to eat properly, trying to sit properly, and not really ignoring their own health and their own well-being, then the game, in a way, is making their life better. With this condition, that they are moderate and that they are having a good, you know, fun work balance in it, then it's in a way making their life better. It's like, as I said, it's like a movie. You get lost in, forget about the stresses of life for a bit. But instead of a movie lasting only 2 hours, a game like this helps you do this for much longer. You know, on the weekend you can do it for 8 hours, for example. You can just get lost in this world for 8 hours and forget about the stresses of life and what have you. So Pearl Abyss, you know, with this, you know, explanation, Pearl Abyss is providing a service, a good service to people. But when you make it so that it ends up basically making people feel like all the support. So you're giving them this, you know, service. It's a good service, and they are showing their support to you, regardless of the amount of the support. Someone showed their support by just buying the game, just paying the 10 euros, and that's it. Another person paid 35 euros. Another paid 300 euros, and yet another paid 30,000 US dollars, and another paid maybe just maybe paid 300,000. If there is someone who paid $100,000, you know, this company to show support and get some, you know, fun stuff, I am pretty sure that there are someone else out there in the world who has paid 300,000 for this. So, regardless to the reasons of these people paying this kind of money, we have to consider that they showed their support to the company. These people have helped keep the company moving forward, keep the company able to pay its employees' salaries. I mean, how was Pearl Abyss able to pay the salaries of everyone working on this game? When they were able to pay the salaries from all these profits. So these people, especially the whales, you know, the whales who have been paying, you know, 40,000, 100,000, 300,000. These people are, you know, taking the brunt of it. Like they have taken the vast majority of the credit for keeping this company going, for supporting the company. But also everyone else who has paid 10 euros or $10 or 35 even euros or dollars. they have also supported the company. So how could you just, you know, make all this support go to waste like this? I can't understand. You know, I can't understand how can this be legal. And I understand it's legal and you know, from a technical perspective on paper, as I said a while ago, but from a practical perspective, how can it be legal from a practical perspective? How can we as human beings sit with each other and look each other in the eye and say, yeah, this is legal and this is fine? How can this be? And then, you know, say, and then basically refer to these people who have paid 100,000 to Pearl Abyss, you know, paid 100,000 to buy stuff, basically. We call them stupid, as if, you know, this makes us superior or makes us better or whatever. You shouldn't be calling them stupid. These people have basically paid for experiences that that gave them meaning. They found meaning in that. We shouldn't really be judging them. It's their own way of having fun in life. Rather than traveling around, you know, they felt like they can travel around here. And ultimately, I talk about this sometimes, your brain, your subconscious can't really tell, you know, reality from fiction. It's really bad at this. And yesterday I talked about this in the stream, and I gave the scientific proof for this is that you don't need, the danger doesn't need to be there. A rabid dog, you know, foaming at the mouth and growling at you, it doesn't need to be standing right in front of you at the, you know, in front of your building's gate for you to actually start feeling fear and for your brain to secrete adrenaline into your blood and get ready for the fight or flight mechanism. You don't need it happening in real life. All you need to do is imagine it. If you imagine it and really focus on it, on this experience, your brain will secrete the adrenaline and it will make your heartbeat faster and make you ready for fight or flight reaction, even though nothing is happening in real life. It's all imagined. So this is the scientific proof that your subconscious isn't very, very good at differentiating between reality and fiction. You see what I mean? And because of that, it doesn't really matter whether you pay 100,000 for a trip to India or a trip to Japan or I don't know, Himalayas or Egypt, you know, to see the pyramids or what. It doesn't matter whether you pay this amount of money to have a trip like that, you know, see the world, or to pay this amount of money to travel here in this world, you know. Ultimately, for your brain, for your gullible subconscious, it's the same. It's all the same. You know, your subconscious cannot tell the difference. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between this, you know, Medea here in Valencia, and India or Egypt's pyramids. It can't. It cannot tell the difference. And I talk about this in yesterday's stream number 22. If you are curious, you know, fast forward the archived video and until you hear me talking, and you should be able to hear details about this. I prove it to you with the examples, and I already mentioned the example of, you know, your heart beating faster and your adrenaline, your brain, you know, basically sends signals for your body to secrete the chemicals necessary and the adrenaline necessary for fight and flight. All of this happening while nothing in real life. There is no danger in real life. It's all in your mind. So this proves to you that your mind really isn't that good at differentiating between fiction and reality. Your conscious mind, with your conscious mind, you can tell fiction from reality, yes, but your subconscious isn't that way. It's just, it doesn't know how to differentiate. For it, it's all the same. And really, it is. So if you're the type of person who spends 100,000 on a trip to, you know, as I said, the Himalayas or Egypt or India or whatever, don't judge a person who spends the same amount of money to travel to here, you know, Valencia and Medea, and go see these creatures. You know, they go, you know, see all these creatures, and they don't just see them, they fight them. You know, don't just judge them, because for their subconscious it's the same. It's maybe even more exciting than, you know, visiting India for their brain, and their brain can't tell. So yeah, it doesn't really help when we call people who spend, you know, money that way, who choose to spend their money that way, you know, stupid or whatever, because they are not. In my opinion, they are not. They're just spending money on experiences. Maybe they're even smarter. I would say the person who spent 100,000 on this game is much smarter than a person who spent 100,000 on a car. You know, maybe someone will listen to this and say that that's just really something stupid to say, because you can use the car to drive in real life it has benefits in real life. Yeah, the car has benefits in real life, but why is a $100,000 car better than a $20,000 car? Given that both of them are brand new. You could say that 100,000 one is more reliable, but really in today's world it's not. You just end up paying much more for maintenance, So whatever reliability it has, it's really neutralized by the fact that you pay that much more for its maintenance. Whereas the $20,000 car is very reliable at the beginning, and whenever it's not reliable, whenever it needs maintenance, it saves you a lot of money for maintenance. So if it's stupid to pay $100,000 for this game to have fun, I would think it's also stupid to pay $100,000 for a sports car or some sort of fancy car when you can pay $20,000 and get the same exact benefit, But it's not. Neither is stupid. It's just people having disposable income and choosing how to spend it. And I think, at least according to the psychology experts, it is actually a bit smarter to spend on experiences rather than possessions. And this game is an experience. So the person spending money on the experience really isn't stupid. They're probably having much more fun than the person who has visited, whatever, foreign country. So it doesn't help, calling people who spend that kind of money anything bad. Ultimately it's their choice, and we have to consider that these people have done a huge role in keeping the company that is making this game, and helping us have more fun, keeping it going. If it's not for these people, Relapsing wouldn't be here. This game wouldn't be here. So, as I said a while ago, from a humane perspective, this shouldn't be legal. What Relapsing has done, and game, whatever game, I don't even know what GameNet is, but what GameNet has done and what Relapsing has done to all these Russian players is just completely unfair, and it should not be legal. Even if it's technically legal on paper because of the agreements that we clicked yes on, I know, even if that is the case, as humans looking each other in the eye, it should not be legal. It should not be accepted. We should not be accepting this, and I would say Relapsing should not be accepting this sort of fate for its Russian players. I think it's very, very vital for Relapsing to have some sort of emergency meeting, sit down and think long and hard about how they can compensate these players. I know there's a hard reset, but they have financial records. At the very least, give these players back some pearls. It's not going to cost you anything. It's a digital thing, and they already paid for them. So at the very least, find your financial records. I would say to Relapsing, find your financial records. You have financial records. You know who exactly paid you and how they paid you. Okay. Give pearls to everyone who has paid you. Basically give pearls that is equal to the amount of money they spent. It's not gonna cost you anything. It doesn't cost you money in real life. Just very minimal. Obviously you're gonna have to go through the data organizing the data and turning it into spreadsheets and calculating, the compensation in pearls and so on. Yeah, that's gonna cost a bit of money, but I mean, the pearls themselves don't cost you any money. They're just digital. They're just zeros and ones, digital signals. And I think the Russian players deserve it. So find your financial records, and via your financial records. So even if the servers are completely wiped and you don't have any data on the servers anymore, at the very least, give the Russian players pearls that are equal to the amount of money they have paid you in the past, and you can find this obviously because you have financial records. And I would say give the Russian servers, like when you restart the Russian servers, give them, I don't know, not even 100%, give them some sort of 500% experience gain as compensation, because not all the players paid money. Some of them just paid you time. Just some of the players gave you thousands of hours or hundreds of hours in this game, made your game more popular with their hundreds and thousands of hours. And they had level 61, 62, and 63 characters with this time. So you cannot. I don't know. I don't think pearls. I don't even think pearls are gonna make these gamers happy, because pearls are not gonna buy them back the hundreds of hours they wasted, or you make them waste. You make them invest and then took it away from them, dumped it down the toilet like that. So I would say when you restart these Russian servers, or you should promise them right now to basically make them feel at least a little bit better about this. Tell them that once the Russian servers are reopened, we will provide a 500%, something like a 500% experience gains for all servers, not for the Olvia, not just for the Russian Olvia servers, but for all servers. All servers would have 500% combat experience gain for 3 months, I would say, something like that, 3 months. You know, I would say that's the bare minimum, to be honest. Or something like, because you gotta help them catch up. If someone spent 2 years, I mean, how can you help them? If 6 months, I would say 400%, 400% combat experience increase for 6 months. And this way, maybe in 6 months they can catch up. They can accomplish what they did in 2 years in only 6 months if you give them this. So something like 400% combat experience gain for 6 months. And everyone's starting from scratch, obviously, on these Russian servers. So hopefully that will help. And return and give them back pearls that's equal to the amount of money they spent. Each and every one of them spent. And this way, you know, they get their money back in the form of pearls, not the cash, but in the form of pearls. And I think they will be happy with this. You know, I mean, well, not obviously they won't be thrilled because they would have to start all over again. But at least they feel like they haven't wasted so much money on you. And then this 400% experience increase in experience gain for 6 months will also help them catch up. Get back to the same level quickly. Get back to the same level that they were with us here in the EU. Those are just some of my ideas, and I literally came up with them while thinking right now. I'm one guy sitting at home streaming. I'm thinking about this, and I just came up with these ideas. I believe that a company with a big team can sit down and have an emergency meeting, sit down and really think about how can we compensate these players who have trusted us with not just with their time, hundreds and hundreds or thousands of hours in some cases, but also with their money. How can we not betray their trust? How can we not betray their investments in us in the form of time and money? These are critical questions today, I believe, for Pearl Abyss, and they really should have an emergency meeting for it. And I hope that my 2 ideas here are a good starting point for them to really build on and expand on, find some real, tangible and decent ways of compensating these players. And I think returning all the money spent in the form of pearls and some form of experience, like really insane experience, increasing experience gain for 6 months or something when the Russian servers open again would be a good starting point. I think that's all I have to say about this issue, and I don't know if I want to read about the details later on, the game neck details and what have you. I'll see if I get inspired. To be honest, the details barely matter to me. The results are what really matters. And I think Pearl Abyss owes these Russian players some compensation. Yes. So, thank you for listening, and I hope to maybe start another stream in a while soon, where I'm just playing rather than discussing issues like this. Until then, stay safe, rational, intelligent, and question honest